went back to race in Supermoto USA Round 3 at Sim Raceway Kart Track in Sonoma, California. This weekend saw some great battles, slides, and some last-minute drama in the Open Expert main event. But more on that later. Let's rewind this tape. In order to avoid heavy traffic going to practice on Saturday, I decided to go to the track on Friday night and wake up at the track. Because practice wouldn't start until 2 p.m, I brought my Husky 701 with me to ride some epic roads around the area in the morning, then come back for practice later in that day. When I came back, lots of folks had joined in, and it was looking like it was going to be a great day of practice. My buddy Lucas and I went out to play around with different lines. I had never ridden this specific track configuration before, so lots of practice was needed. Specifically, the section I struggled with was called the tic-tac-toe, with a sweeping left-hander going into an S. While walking the track, we debated if you should jump the curb or stay inside. After some trial and error, I decided the best thing was to smash the curb head on and therefore get more room to be on the throttle. By doing this line though, I would open up an opportunity to pass me on the inside because I spent the entire sweeper setting up my rocket launch exit strategy. This would come back to haunt me later in races, but that's racing, folks. This was also the time to scope out some of the competition to see how good they were and see if we could pick up any lines from them. Some really fast riders that we had never met before had joined in. They were so fast that I assumed they would be competing in the Open Expert class. I signed up for the Open Amateur and Vet 30 Plus classes. Now some of the riders in the Vet 30 Plus class also do the Open Expert class, so I had little hope of getting anything above like 6th or 7th place in that class. Now little did I know that I was going to lead the heat race for a while. As soon as I got the lead, I was like, hey, what guys? Where are you? Something's gotta be wrong here. I felt like a deer hunted by a bunch of hungry wolves. Every corner I was thinking to myself, okay, they're coming. So where did you think I finished? Well, results to come, so stick around. In Open Amateur I had higher hopes, since I had improved so much since the first round, especially in braking. Top 5 was my goal for this race. We had a great barbecue that evening and felt like we had improved a lot. I woke up early on race day to set all my stuff up and get the tire warmers on in time for the morning practice sessions. The morning practice sessions felt really smooth and it was finally time for some heat races. So the heat races determine your starting position in the main event. Your starting position in this type of close quarter racing is really important because it's easy to get stuck behind slower or blocking riders. My start in the Vet 30 Plus race was nothing short of spectacular. Because of my flying start and what I presumed to be some jostling for position behind me, I managed to keep the lead for 2 solid laps. Then finally, one of the riders from the Open Expert class backed it in front of me. But man, at least I got to spend 2 laps feeling like I was the fastest rider on Earth. I managed to hold the other riders off for yet another lap. Then on lap 4, I made a major mistake in the tic-tac-toe section I mentioned earlier. I should have retained a blocking inside line, but instead kept my rocket launch strategy. This allowed not 1 but 2 riders to pass me. Then finally a 3rd one. My epic start had paid off though, ending up 5th in the heat. Now it was time for the important event for me, the Open Amateur Heats. The starting position in the heat race was based off of everyone's place in the series. I was 2nd, so I got a nice front grid position. I did not do as well in the start as in the vet class, and I took a bad outside line in the first corner, where I should have been hugging the curb to block anyone from passing, which enabled another rider to pass me. I was in third for one more lap. Then I well-deserved got passed on the brakes going into tic-tac-toe. I should have been keeping a blocking inside line here as well. Either way, the rider in front of me were clearly faster. I kept 4th place for the rest of the race and had a major margin to anyone behind me. My goal for the main event was now to shoot for 3rd place. It was time for the Vet 30 Plus main event. Now I knew I couldn't keep up with the real fast riders up front, but at least I could give some of the front row a bit of a fight. Again, I pulled off a miracle start, which initially didn't seem like it. But I snatched the inside line into turn 1 and was 4th going into turn 2. I misshifted and did not get the drive I should have. So going into turn 3 I got passed on the inside. I managed to keep up with the fast group for a large part of the race and finished 5th. This was definitely better than I had anticipated the days before the race, and I was really happy about the results. And now, finally, it was time for the Open Amateur main event. Starting on the front grid, but all the way on the outside is really tricky. As you saw from my start in the vet race, starting on row 2 but on the inside is almost better. I knew I had to get a killer start and try to strafe to the left. I got off the line fairly well, but I had to keep a really disadvantageous outside line at turn 1, since I was not able to work my way to the inside. This enabled another rider to pass me and I was now 5th. I then got outbraked on the outside going into turn 3 and bumped out on the inside by another one. I was now in 7th place and not very happy at all. But I wasn't going to give this one up. It was time to get back into the zone and just focus. No more misshifting and no more half-ass braking. One rider went down in tic-tac-toe and we managed to not hit him. Looking at the riders in front of me, I realized that I would be able to overtake them. It was just a matter of timing it correctly. You can see that the rider in the orange helmet is looking for me. He knows that I'm coming, so he's keeping a blocking line. Now here comes my chance. I see that the 2 riders up front are jostling for position and that they will have a bad drive coming out on the straight. Therefore, I decide to go up on the inside and just rocket launch down the straight. Down the straight, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to brake before you, I'm not going to brake before you. It's like a chicken race to the brake zone. And, would you know it, I snatched the inside line and managed to block both of them. Fourth is what I kept for the rest of this race, and I was really happy with the results, considering my nightmare first lap. I parked my motorcycle by my camp and it was time to have a look at the Open Expert main event. This was going to be an epic race with all the riders being very talented. The race started out with some drama already in the start, with number 4811 hitting number 32 Pierce's rear wheel going into turn 1. Both riders go off the track but manage to get back into the race. Number 27 Toth started breaking away already in the first lap with a massive lead already into turn 8. On lap 2, more drama ensued between Levin and Pierce. Levin hits Pierce's back wheel going into turn 3, going down hard, tumbling around. He gets into a real rage fit and gets back on his bike. He then proceeds to wait a lap out for number 32 to pop up. He then follows Pierce around for 3 laps, basically trying to mess his race up by passing him and blocking. The crowd was screaming to get him black flag, and eventually he went off the track, unable to mess up Pierce's race. Trying to deliberately screw your opponent's race up like that is truly unsportsmanlike. Keeping your cool is definitely a major part of being a successful motorcycle racer. Number 27 Toth won the race with lots of room to spare. And number 32 Pierce kept his cool, coming in second. Number 42 Bernard and 121 Mesada had a great battle to third. And 427 Matos doing an awesome wheelie to the finish line after them. This racing weekend was a great experience with lots of exciting moments. There was a big turnout for the mini races, which has become very popular lately. These are smaller CC bikes which both youth and adults race. It's become a great starting ground for young and upcoming racers and adults who want to get into racing and want to start at a slower pace. If you have ever considered getting into racing, I think you should look to Supermoto or mini racing, as it is way cheaper than any other forms of racing, and you will have tons of fun. That's what we had anyways. Over and out.
I'm gonna take you on a ride. We're gonna burn through the night. Why you so salty? I'll still take a bite.
Okay, you can take my Lambo. I'll put on a tight show. You sure you can handle